All right, in part three of this lecture series, we'll be starting our discussion with males and the male reproductive system, and then continue on to conception and some of the actual development pieces of human reproduction. So, taking a look at male anatomy, obviously you're familiar probably with terminology like penis and testicles, but there's a bit more that goes into it than just those two pieces of the male reproductive system. The testes certainly are important. They are the structures that produce the sperm, and they're producing millions of sperm every single day. I think the video talked about about 1,000 sperm per second. So men are producing many sperm throughout the day, all with one main goal in mind, and that is to get those sperm to fertilize an egg to continue our species. The testes are contained outside of the body. Yes, they are held in the scrotum, so they're inside technically in the skin of a male, but they are descended out of the body, not held up inside like the ovaries of a female. And really, the big question is why? Why would that be the case? Well, it's found that the sperm cells inside a male function best at a temperature of about 1 to 2 degrees cooler than body temperature. And so we're talking, instead of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, we're looking more into that 96, 97 degrees Fahrenheit temperature. And so by hanging outside of the body, it does keep the sperm just a little bit cooler. The vas deferens, I don't know if you can see in the picture, are the tubes that connect up the actual testes to the urethra, which then will take the sperm out of the penis and out of the body. And so the vas deferens are those tubes that will carry the sperm. The sperm will travel through before they are mixed with other fluids to become part of the semen. We'll take a look at some of the other components in just a little bit. You may have heard the term vasectomy in talking about the vas deferens. You might recognize the term vasectomy. And what a vasectomy is when you would cut or tie off those vas deferens tubes so that the sperm can't get out. And so just using a small incision, they can cut or tie off those tubes or cauterize them with some heat so that sperm would no longer be able to travel out of the penis through ejaculation. It is still possible for a male to ejaculate even after a vasectomy, but no sperm would be found inside the ejaculate or in the semen. And so this could be technically considered to be one method of birth control. It is reversible. It is not 100% effective, but certainly, if done correctly and then checked regularly after the vasectomy, checked for sperm by a doctor, you would find out if it properly has been stopped with the inclusion of the sperm in the semen. The semen itself, so if we don't have a vasectomy in a certain male, the semen itself has different contents to it. It contains about 350 million sperm in a relatively small amount of semen that is released from the male through ejaculation. Besides sperm, there is sperm food produced by some of these other parts of the body, other glands. I believe the seminal vesicle up here is what is adding in some of the food that the sperm would need, sugars to help them swim, as well as pH buffers, which come from the prostate gland, which is found right up over here. The pH buffers actually are included in the semen to help the sperm survive once they're inside the female vagina. The female vagina is an incredibly acidic environment and dangerous for the sperm. That's to help the female so that if any bacteria or anything like that would get into the vagina, the chances of their survival in that environment would be low. Well, it's also difficult for sperm to survive in that kind of acidic environment, so the sperm bring along with them in the semen, thanks to the prostate gland, some of these pH buffers which will help neutralize the acidic environment, lowering the acidity a little bit and making it easier for the sperm to survive. It's actually a pretty ingenious plan. The sperm bring along food and something to make the environment better for them, giving them a better chance to survive inside the female vagina, and therefore giving them a better chance of getting to an egg to fertilize it. So, just mentioned there, it allows the sperm to survive for a couple of days inside the female's body. It's usually considered to be about 2 to 3 days. I'm sure there are cases where sperm can last longer than that. That 2 to 3 days, though, means if the sperm is inside the female even 2 to 3 days prior to ovulation, there is still a chance then that the sperm are in and surviving just fine if the woman ovulates 2 to 3 days after sexual intercourse would occur. But what really is sperm? What is included in sperm? We talked kind of about the female egg and what the female egg is all about, but what is sperm? Kind of the old adage was that sperm included a little person inside of it. And so over here on the side is a picture of a little person all tucked up inside of a sperm, because it was really difficult to think about where did these people come from, these babies come from. Sexual intercourse occurs, and 9 months later there's a person that's born. You've probably heard the stories of, oh, the stork drops off the baby. Well, another thought was that in each side of the sperm, whichever lucky sperm it was, there was this little baby, and when it fertilized the egg, it got the nourishment it needed to grow, and it just started to grow, but each sperm had a little person in it. Now, we don't think that's the case nowadays. Nowadays, we understand that the sperm does contain several parts. There's kind of this head region out here to the sperm, and in the head region we find chemicals at the very tip to help it dissolve its way through some of the, I wouldn't necessarily say it's goo per se, but it's this gooey-like substance that's protecting the egg, and so we have to dissolve our way through the egg. But also inside here, in this side area right here, inside the nucleus, we have dad's genetic information. The DNA would be found there, as well as a structure called the centriole, which will aid in the first cellular division that the cell will undergo when you go from one cell to two cells. Just behind the head region, in the middle piece, is a whole bunch of mitochondria. Those mitochondria are involved in producing energy for the cell. So this section right here would need the sugar as a food source for the energy to keep going and keep swimming. And it'll use the big tail, this big whip-like flagella found on the back of the sperm, to propel itself through the liquidy environment inside the female.